Good evening, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being part of the 4th year of our Partners in Learning fashion show. Of course, with COVID, we're doing things a little bit different this year, but we're not gonna miss a beat. You're still gonna enjoy the show and it's still gonna be a really amazing night. So, not only do we have the fashion show coming up, but we have so many people that we wanna thank to put all of this together to make it all happen. So, first of all, I wanna thank the parents of all of these kids. They are amazing, and I can't give it away, but last year, if you tuned into our fashion show, we had a really sweet little boy that was very sick, and he, at that point, wasn't really doing a lot of movement. But this year, I'm gonna need you to stay tuned and keep watching because we have a surprise in store. I'm hoping that he's gonna do what our little guy did last year and maybe, just maybe, take a few steps for us. We'll have to see though, so you're gonna have to stay watching. So we have some folks that we want to thank, and this is no easy task. First of all, Southern Sass. Southern Sass is a boutique here in downtown Salisbury. Thank you, Southern Sass. We appreciate you, and we hope that all of our viewers will get there and get yourself a sassy outfit, because you know you want one, and you're gonna wear it when we can leave our houses again. So, another person that we want to thank, or at least a few, is William and Harriet. They also helped with the outfit, and Jessica Watson. Thank you so much for also getting a few clothing needs for our pumpkins. Some of them grew, and their outfits didn't quite fit, and we know with Partners in Learning, we appreciate and we like growth. We want to thank you too for tuning in and viewing. You know, this is the 2nd year that I've been able to MC, and they brought me back. I wasn't sure I was ever going to be invited back after last year, but we raised some money, and we're hoping to do that again this year. So that's why we need you. And you're going to see throughout the night, there's going to be a number that's going to come up on your screen. So I need you to grab your cell phones. Now I'm going to ask you to grab them to text, to donate, but then I want you to put them down and watch my kids, right, as they come through here and fashion their clothing. But throughout the night, if you see that number come up, what I need you to do is take your phone, start a text message, enter that number, and then this is the message I want you to text in the message area. P for partners. I-L proud. That's P-I-L proud. So, you know, I know a lot's going on this year, and I know that the buckets and stuff are not as full as they have been in the past to donate, but you know, you're gonna see some smiles on these kids, and I got cold chills, you know, at some point just seeing these kids and welcoming them, because they really are special. And without your help, then this would not be possible. So please reach in extra and get some donations, because number one, you're gonna have fun and we need it for these kids. So without further ado, let's get this party started, folks. So I know you're at home and you're watching this. Some of you are watching it through a viewing party. Get your snacks, get your wine. Let's pretend like I have a wine. I need one right now. So whatever you're drinking, get one, and let's get this party started, all right? All right, you are in for a special treat. Now we're gonna have Carson, who is going to do her tumbling routine. Carson, take it away.
Carson was a toddler. She actually started walking when she was 7 months old. She was very, very physical and pretty much could do anything. We have videos of her climbing up slides. People would look at us because she was just a little thing running around. However, she wasn't able to talk until she was about 2 years old. With her being so active and physical, my husband and I were like, oh yeah, look at her, she's gonna be advanced because she's walking so early, but also meant that she was getting into things much quicker. She was getting into pretty much anything squishy that she could rub on our walls, she did. She was also very much an adventure seeker, so she got into everything, climbing on counters, on top of refrigerators, climbing up on doorknobs. This went on until she was about probably 5 or 6 years old. When she was 3, we came home from her 3rd birthday, and she had climbed on top of a little Tyke's car and jumped off the roof of it and broke her elbow. She screamed for about a minute, and then she just wanted everybody to leave her alone. So we knew then that she had a very high tolerance for pain. We ended up spending 2 nights in the hospital where she had screws in her elbow. She was such an adventure seeker. This went on for a very long time. To me and my husband, we thought, well, she's just active. I tell my oldest son that he made me a mom, but my second made me a better mom because she made me have to learn how to parent in a different way. So I did the parenting classes, and then we went 6 or 7 months without a big, huge behavior. She still had meltdowns, but I wasn't crying every day. Then Norma sent me to be actually trained in Triple P, which is the positive parenting program that we offer here at Partners in Learning. And I was blown away at the strategies that they gave me that I could use for her. And those really seemed to work. So we really started hitting it hard with the Triple P and Love and Logic. She was still kind of having some meltdowns, and it was really hard to understand her and why she was having those meltdowns. So we seeked out for professional help through occupational therapy. I talked to her doctor. Her doctor just kept saying she's a normal kid, but something in my mommy gut told me something wasn't right. So we did occupational therapy, and they came out and did screenings for her and found that she needed a lot of support in fine motor skills. She needed a lot of support in self-regulation. She needed a lot of support in attention. So this went on. We had therapy for probably about a year, and then we started trying non-traditional things because I was very much against medicating her. So I talked to Amy Vestal about different kinds of foods I could feed her. Could I take out red dyes, vitamins I could give her? We also heard about this company that Speedy Smith, you're gonna be able to see her tumbling with him, but he really was our saving grace because he saw everything. He saw everything in her that we thought was a problem and turned it into something good. The jumping off the refrigerator, the jumping off the counters, the danger seeking, he took it and he made it into something good. He taught her how to harness all of that and teach her how to do flips and tumble and teach her how to wait and what was safe and what wasn't safe. He would meet her here at Partners in Learning, which he does with other children. He meets them here. I would give him her OT goals, and he would incorporate them into her tumbling class so that while she thought that she was just running around and doing pull-ups and sit-ups and push-ups and flips, he was really just teaching her self-control and self-regulation. So we took OT, we took tumbling, we took the feeding, we took all of those things, and we just tried to do all the non-traditional things to fix what we thought was wrong, to help her better herself. You know, all those things here at Partners, they are fantastic with knowing where a kid is and what they need and making modifications, and the teachers understand. But when she went to kindergarten, she got in trouble for not sitting in her chair, not talking nicely to her friends, pushing in line. Those are just a few of those things. And she come home one day and said, "Mommy, I really want to be a good girl." And so I took back all of my feelings about medication and we went to the doctor. And that's whenever me, being the early intervention director at Partners, already had all the paperwork that she needed to be diagnosed. So I had her teacher fill it out, I filled it out, I took it to the doctor's office and I laid it on the counter and I said, we're here for an ADHD diagnosis and I just need a doctor to tell me. The doctor looked at it and she said, it's true, she does have ADHD. So they started her on a very low dose of medication. And when we started medication, about 2 weeks later, we could see a tremendous amount of difference in her and her ability to control herself. And she comes here for Partners for after school. She comes here on her days off, and they just love her, and they just love her for who she is. She doesn't have to take her medicine when she comes here. She can come here and just be who she is. She doesn't have to conform. So that's why we love Partners in Learning.
All right, and now we have Lydia and Jackson and their mother Taryn. Can you stop for me? Do me a little twirl and show off those fancy outfits. So Lydia is sassy and fun, and she is 4 years old. And then we have Jackson, who is her brother, and they were recently adopted, and they have a younger sibling named Colton. And Jackson is showing off for me in his crab shirt with a red crab. Show it off, do me a twirl, buddy. His blue and white shorts. And Lydia is here in her Minnie Mouse dress. Model that for me, give me a little twirl. She's got her gold shoes, and guess what? She even painted her fingernails for the event. And then we have Mom Taryn. Mom is wearing her snakeskin dress with her black leather jacket, and she is looking so good. Mom's got to keep it cool and coming in hot with taking care of 3 kids. Hey buddy, you're looking good. Can you go and give me a little show off there on the side? Oh yeah, show me your arm. All right. So Jackson has autism, but Jackson is my geography man. He likes continents and learning all about space and everything to do with space. He has made leaps and bounds since working with Partners in Learning. 1 in 54 children will be diagnosed with autism, and before recently, until Partners in Learning really picked it up, applied behavior analysis was not available here, but now you have it, right? And so he is just excelling, doing awesome. And Lydia also has a behavioral diagnosis that makes it difficult for her to accept boundaries. But with Partners in Learning, they have made it so much easier with physical therapy and different therapies that they offer to have this sassy, fun, Minnie Mouse wearing girl doing great. Go ahead, strut away, show me that, show me your style. Give me a twirl, Lydia. Woo! All right, thank you so much, Mom. We really appreciate y'all.
I think probably the most rewarding thing for our family has been seeing how our kids have changed and grown over the 2.5 years that they have been with us. He really had to think out of the box with how to get his services done, and so Partners in Learning and the service providers, really all of us worked together to get Jackson's therapies done at the center instead of him having to go to visits 4 times a week and then having to go somewhere else for speech therapy or occupational therapy and play therapy. All of those services came into Partners in Learning and worked around his schedule, worked around their classroom schedule, and were able to get him what he needed all in one place instead of running all around for all of those. With our kids coming from foster care, they've had a lot of trauma in their lives and a lot of just things they had to deal with at a very young age that no kid should have to deal with. And they were, Lydia was less than 2 years old and Jackson was barely 3 whenever they came into care. And so just knowing that they have that underlying trauma there and having to do things differently with them because their brains are wired differently. Trauma affects how your brain works. And so knowing that they do have some developmental delays because of that, and then also just knowing that their brain is wired a little bit differently, so you can't treat them like you would treat a typical child. You have to come at them a little bit differently. That's probably been the hardest thing, of having a learning curve there of what works and what doesn't work. It was comforting to know that where my kids were going to spend the majority of their day, that everybody had been trained on trauma and they knew that my children needed a different approach than most typical children did. One thing I would like the community to know, although there's a bunch, just that there are a lot of services and a lot of community resources that Partners in Learning is able to offer to families. One of the things that I love about Partners in Learning is that they are aware of all the resources in our community and have connections with different agencies in our community. And this is one of the only places I know of that has those connections, and they've been in the community so long that they've built these bridges with everybody. So if funding were to decrease or to go away, these resources would go away, and I don't know of another place who would be able to offer this to the children in our community. If we didn't have that, I don't know that we would have been as successful with our kids as we have been.
All right, and now we have Zane and his mom, Sierra. And Zane is our 9-month, happy, healthy, smiling little pumpkin. He is here today wearing the cutest little outfit. He has got on a bright red shirt with a smiley crab, which is just like Zane himself. And his mom is wearing a blue romper, complete with a beautiful jewelry by Southern Sass. Hey, buddy, hey, you want to show off this outfit a little bit? Look how cute this is. So Zane started out his journey when he was in Levine's Children's Hospital for 6 weeks. And after that, he spent even 2 more weeks in the NICU. And it was realized that he needed his feeding tube. And Partners in Learning is the only facility in Rowan County that has the support for this type of feeding tube. So we're lucky that we have him here. And at first he was not thriving, but now with Partners in Learning and their assistance with speech therapy and all of his occupational therapy, and of course helping mom. So mom is an essential worker, and so she has relied on Partners in Learning right now to keep Zane happy and healthy. We are so happy to have Zane. Thank you so much, Zane and Sierra. All right, and now we have Ezekiel and his mom, Kimberly. Ezekiel is so special. Come this way, honey. I actually was the MC for the fashion show last year, and this guy has made so much progress. In fact, last year at this time, Ezekiel, hey buddy, can you come to me? I have the ball. Hey, can you come to me? Will you do it? Come here, look, yay, good job, you got the ball. He, at this time last year, wasn't crawling. He was in a really sick state when he came to Partners. And with the occupational therapy, the speech therapy, and everything that Partners in Learning has done, I just cannot believe what a year has made in this little boy's life. He has Down syndrome, and he has been through so much, but yet he's smiling, he's walking, and he's crawling. I really can't believe it. And now he's able to feed himself. He is wearing the cutest little whale outfit with seersucker shorts. He clearly loves to play with balls, and the ball has gotten his attention again. So Ezekiel, can you come back to me, honey? He's got on his seersuckers, his New Balance tennis shoes, and look at mom in her pantsuit looking so fly. It takes a lot for a mama to get up and get dressed, and in addition to everything, with such a precious one. Hey, and I have this hat. Ezekiel, this is your fedora hat. Will you wear it for me? Can you wear it for me? Woo, you handsome. This fedora hat's really special because this fashion show is actually in memory of Jacob Usher. And Jacob used to love to put on his fedora hat and dance around and show off his personal style. And you can clearly see that Ezekiel has his personal style as well. Mama's got her hands full, but she's got a handful of love. Thank you, Ezekiel.
My son is Ezekiel, and he has Down syndrome, along with sleep apnea, asthma, food allergies, a very stubborn personality, and a compromised immune system. And he's gonna be 3 in November, but he just started walking just this past summer. So the last few months, he just started heavily walking, and Partners in Learning has been there to aid us in all of it. We've actually gotten really lucky because he doesn't have as many medical issues as most Down syndrome kids have. So it's lighter, I think, on our side. The hardest thing to do as a family is to be social, actually. I have this really large paranoia with something happening to Ezekiel or him catching something because his immune system is not as strong. So, you know, being around other people, going out and doing things, we kind of just stay in the house. And we'll be around like extended family with my sister and her kids or my mother, but that's kind of where it stops, just because of my mom's paranoia. So Partners in Learning has allowed me to go back to work. I attended a workshop through Cardinal Innovations, and I attended so I could find, you know, more programs or what I could do to help Ezekiel, because at that time he also did not have any therapies going because we had just moved here. I learned about how open they are with the parents. I was able to tour the school. I was able to find out what programs they had, and allowing him to come here, which is his first daycare and his only daycare, I've had just a really strong sense of security in knowing that my children are safe. One thing I want people to know about Partners in Learning is that you can trust them. And that's not a little thing for me or many people, moms in general. The sense of security that you get with your children coming here is amazing. They communicate with you daily. They greet you and your children by name. They know everybody. I've never had the sense of uneasiness here, and that's humongous.
We're here at the heart of Salisbury, which is a yoga studio in downtown Salisbury, and they actually have a fully functional kitchen here. They have their head chef, Aline, and Chef Aline is going to show us today a little bit of how to make some tasty snacks and appetizers and things that can be made at home. Chef Aline, take it away.
Hi, I'm Executive Chef Eileen Del Piano, and I'm at the heart of Salisbury Kitchen. I'm here with Partners in Learning, and we're going to demo a pizza dough that's a really simple pizza dough to do, great to do with your children. There's a lot of learning experience, measuring, following directions, and a lot of hands-on stuff. They'll really enjoy it. And then we're going to go into making your own homemade ranch dressing. What child doesn't like ranch dressing? Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to make our pizza dough. It's really a simple dough, just a couple of ingredients. So we're going to put in flour. We're going to put it right into the bowl. Get it all off of there. We're going to put our yeast in, if you can find it nowadays, which it is available again. Some salt, a little bit of olive oil, and that just makes the dough more tender, and our water. So pretty simple. We're going to turn it on low and let it get mixed up first. So I'm just going to push this down. If you didn't have a mixer, you could mix this up by hand. Now you can see, if you want to step up here, you can see where it's all come together.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to let it go. And I want it to stick a little bit on the bottom, because with the dough hook, when it sticks, the dough hook pulls it. So almost like a kneading process.
Okay.
So we're going to let that go, and it sticks to the bottom, and when it goes around, it pulls it and kneads it. And that's the purpose of that hook.
Good.
So we're going to let this go. Generally goes about 8 minutes. And then we're going to put it into the bowl and let it rise. And you can tell if it's not ready yet, it'll look real gritty. So what we're looking for is a texture that's real nice and smooth. Okay, so we're going to take this and put it into a bowl to let it rise. Put the pizza dough out. So we can either form it at that time, or we can put it in the refrigerator, and it can last in the refrigerator for 72 hours. So while that's rising, we're going to go ahead and make our salad dressing. So we're going to put in sour cream, equal amounts of sour cream and mayo.
And you could actually use light sour cream.
You could.
And help,
Yep, you could.
make all that healthier.
You
Yes.
could. You can use buttermilk, or you can use regular milk. If you prefer the tang of buttermilk, you can use milk, 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of an acid. A vinegar or a lemon juice will work. And then you just let it clabber. It'll come like culture. So we have that in there, and then we're going to put in garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, some chives, and dill. And they're equal amounts, except the dill is a teaspoon, of course, because that's the predominant flavor that's in ranch. And then some salt and pepper. Okay? Yeah, and it doesn't take a big amount. Then we're going to add an acid. You can use lemon juice or you can use vinegar. Either one will work, white vinegar. And I just put that in to start with the taste. And then we're just going to whisk it all together. And this, the longer it sits, the better it will get because it brings out the oils in the dry herbs, because these are all dry herbs. Our dough should be ready. So I'll bring that out. I cover it with plastic wrap. Kind of keeps the warmth in, also the moisture in so it doesn't get a crust on the top. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of flour on the board. So if you're going to use it right away, it would take about an hour in a warm place. If your kitchen's cold, it might take longer than an hour. But this is what we're looking for, is something that's risen. And another trick, I didn't do it on this one, when you put it in the bowl, if you take a little Sharpie and mark it where it is on the bowl, then you can see when it rises, you can see that it's, because sometimes you look at it and you're like, well, that looks the same size. Right. Another test is when you do this, you can see, you can see that it's risen. So I do this by hand. I don't use a rolling pin with it. It's all your choice. But I just let the weight of it pull out itself. And it might not look round, but it'll end up round. So I have the pizza pan, but you can use a sheet pan. It doesn't have to be a round pizza. It can be any shape you want it to be. And I put down a little bit of cornmeal. If you don't have cornmeal, sprinkle some grits on there. Everybody has grits. Does the same thing. So what we're trying to do is create a barrier between the pan and the dough so it doesn't stick. So we're going to go ahead and top this.
It is so good. Let me remind that you can get this recipe online on Partners in Learning's website at epartnersandlearning.org. And trust me, you want to get this recipe and try it out. Thank you.
All right, and now next up is our beautiful model, Arya. Arya, turn around, stand right there for me and do a little show off with your mom, Selena. Arya is 3 years old and she is diagnosed with Down syndrome, but she has never met a stranger that she didn't fall in love with that contagious smile. She has received services through Partners in Learning. Can you blow me a kiss? Woo! Can you twirl around for me? Let me see. Woo! And check out this beautiful outfit. Look at these pom-pom shorts with her blue ruffle shirt. And of course, no outfit is complete without a big pink bow, right? And woo, I got a little microphone for you. Yay! They always say the bigger the bow, the closer to Jesus, right? And let's get a little, hey, Arya, come here. Let's show off your mom for a minute, huh? Hey, here, I got her. Mom, Selena, let's show off that dress from Southern Sass. All of this clothing is donated from Southern Sass. She is wearing a black romper style with some ruffles at the top, complete with some gold hoops. And let's see those bracelets. Pink, shimmery, coming in beautiful. And Mama needs that because Mama has Selena, this beautiful little girl. But let's go ahead and admit, it's some work, right? Can you try it all for me? Woo! Show your style. So 1 in 700 children have this genetic disorder that consists of developmental delays, and it can even lead to congenital heart defects. So we are super excited to have Arya at Partners in Learning. She is so cute. She has developmental play in her home to begin with, and then she actually moved in and graduated to play therapy. So she's now receiving support through their inclusive classroom at Partners in Learning. So thank you, Arya.
My name's Celine Sanchez, and this is Arya Sanchez. She is 3 years old, and she's diagnosed with Down syndrome. She's actually, to me, she seems very like any other child. The only difference that I do notice is that she does have delays, like walking. It did take her a little longer than her sister. Maybe her sister started walking at 1, and she started walking at 2. Other than that, everything she does to us is very normal. Smiling, laughing, getting angry, throwing tantrums. She's very, very friendly, something she's different from her sister. Partners in Learning doesn't feel to us like just like a regular preschool or daycare. It feels more like a family, so it makes us feel very comfortable when we come and drop her off. And she feels very comfortable here. When Arya started receiving play therapy, it was through Partners in Learning, and they were coming to the house and we were doing speech therapy, play therapy, and physical therapy. One of the things that I like about Partners in Learning is how they're very patient with her. When we started, she was crying all the time. She was crying all day, nonstop, and it kind of made me very nervous because I wasn't sure if it's knowing that they had other children there, if that was gonna get frustrated for them. And it only took her 2 weeks to adjust, and she actually got to know everyone very well, and everyone got to know her. So every morning when we come, she likes to say good morning to everyone. Please consider donating to Partners in Learning to continue supporting families like ours. Riri, say please.
Next up, we have Cason. Hey, Cason, and his Mimi, right? Alicia. Come on down, buddy, show it off. So Cason is 4 years old, and he was diagnosed with a rare skin condition known as ichthyosis, which it presents itself at birth, and it affects 1 in 16,000 babies each year. So Cason was actually an emergency placement at Novant, and then the fundraiser was held to help his family. Cason is wearing a blue and embroidered shirt and with bubbles, which are his favorite thing. And I got a mic for you and some shorts, and look at those Converse. Woo! Excellent, look at that. Oh, yay! And hey, let's show off Mimi and her outfit. Look right here. Mimi, let's get your debut. Can you turn around? The most favorite thing I have about this shirt, and look at this, stop right there. Mimi coming in hot with a leopard on the back, and it looks very comfortable with her jeans and putting off with her necklace. So Southern Sass Boutique donated the clothes for Mom, and then I think we had William and Harriet Embroidery to do this cool shirt for Cason. Can you give me a 5? Woo! Good job. All right, buddy, start walking back that way, and let's show off that outfit some more. So Cason was actually a case where Partners in Learning was able to create an inclusive classroom for him where he had 5 children in the classroom. But through all of his care at Partners in Learning and the different therapy that Cason has had, he has actually been able to graduate to a 12-student classroom now. And as you can see, he's thriving, healthy, and happy little boy. Thank you so much, Cason and Mimi. And now we have Zamir. Zamir, woo, hey buddy, and his mom, Arielle. Zamir is 3 years old, and he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And so Zamir actually attends our Catawba location. Come on up here, buddy. He attends Partners in Learning in Catawba, and let's show off this duck shirt you're rocking. Look at that. He's wearing the classic duck shirt. Ooh, you want the car? All right, my man, you got it. It's a duck shirt, right? And it's blue, not Carolina blue, right? But it's close. We're gonna we got our green gingem shorts on. Is it comfy? Woo! And no outfit would be complete without the Nike kicks. And let's look at his mama. Look at this. Woo, girl, give me a twirl. Look at her in her classic ruffle A-line dress with this cute little slit on the side and jewelry. Now, Mama needs an outfit to go out on the town, right? Because Zamir has you busy constantly, right, buddy? Woo! Look at him with them cars. Good job. So you can walk back and twirl your outfit around if you want, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about you. So as you can see, he is bubbly, he is energetic, and he is full of life. He is at the Catawba Partners in Learning facility, and one thing special about him is that at first Zamir didn't think he was going to have a place to go to school because one of the other facilities in Rowan County turned him away because of his medical condition. But Partners in Learning, they don't turn children away, instead they make it happen. So Partners in Learning created an environment for Zamir to attend. He is there, he is thriving, and he is just doing great. Thank you so much, Zamir, and Mom, thank you.
My name is Arielle. I have a son named Zamir Carlisle. He is 3 years old, and also he is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. What's so different is taking that extra time of checking before we do something else, like as far as activities, exercise, or eating, has been a little different. Taking that extra time of checking his sugar, making sure that he's in range, he's okay. Also after he eats or even after he exercises, that's a big life changer. When he was first diagnosed, I really didn't think anything of it, honestly. I just thought that he was being a typical kid. He was just urinating on himself a lot, and I didn't understand why. He was fully potty trained. He was very thirsty a lot all the time, so I had concerns. So I took him to a normal checkup just to make sure he was okay, and they found ketones in his urine. The extra special needs that he was needing, a lot of people were afraid or wasn't, able to give him the care that he needs. And Partners in Learning actually came through and actually reached out to me, was willing to actually help Zamir. I've reached out to several daycares. Most daycares they wouldn't even call me back. After I told them that I had a child that had special care, special needs. They would say that they don't have the care or the proper training. It was always a runaround every time I called back. It was kind of upsetting that, people would, turn a child away because they have a disability, or they would just basically say that it was more of a liability on their behalf. It was a big relief to know that somebody was actually willing to take on a child that actually has a special need, and that extra moment and that extra time to check on him to make sure he's okay while I'm away for the little bit of hours that I'm away for. If Partners in Learning wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to work and provide for Zamir and take care of him and give him the best life and best thing that he could be.
Now I get the privilege of introducing one of our wonderful parents. Her name's Elizabeth, and she's going to tell you a heartwarming story. We met and we just connected instantly because we share the same journey, and that's through adoption.
I remember asking a friend if she had it to do all over again, knowing what she knows now, would she still choose to be the mom of a special needs child? There's no right way to answer this question, but I knew that she would be honest and tell me what she thinks. Her answer was that her son is a blessing, but that not a day goes by that she doesn't think about what life would be like with a normally developing child. Rarely does a parent get to pick their child, and even if they did, how many would pick one knowing that their child had extra needs? I did pick my child, and I picked him knowing that he had behaviors. At the time, I thought, well, we all have behaviors. I knew specifically that he had been diagnosed at some point with attention deficit disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, and autism spectrum disorder. I had a home interview, and later that week I would meet my son for the first time. At 3, my son had noticeable delays. He wasn't potty trained, he had speech impairments. He didn't start speaking at all until after his 4th birthday. Most of the time, I couldn't understand what he was saying, and he would get so frustrated because I couldn't translate his sounds into speech. We went to McDonald's to get a snack after our first meeting, and he spent more time on the floor hiding under the table than he did sitting at the table. When it was time to leave, he flipped and climbed along the booths all along the side of the restaurant. I called a friend on my way home asking what in the world I was thinking. and I was sure I could not do this. That Thursday night at 9 o'clock, a car pulled into my driveway delivering my son. He had a box and a duffel bag and a bag of shopping toys, a shopping bag full of toys. The only preparation I had for my son for this transition was a conversation he had had with his foster parents that morning. These were the only parents he had ever known, and they took him to daycare that morning, dropped him off with his things, and told him he would get a new family that day. Imagine a normally developing child in this situation, and now think about my son that's on the autism spectrum. He wouldn't talk to me or look at me. His caseworker stayed for just a little bit and then left, and we were on our own. I slept on the floor beside his bed that night. It was the first of many nights that I would sleep on the floor. The next day I had taken off work and I was taking him to run errands and visit his new preschool teacher. Our first stop was the Partners Catawba campus. I had researched and visited and interviewed several places before deciding on Partners. Cassie was an answer to so many prayers at that time. Miss Robin took him to his room while Norma and Cassie and I met with each other. After Partners, we took a trip to the grocery store. First time mom here with a 4-year-old in a grocery store, with a snowstorm expecting to come that evening. We weren't getting bread or milk, thank goodness. We had made it through the store intact, and I looked up from the debit card machine, and my child had climbed out of the shopping cart and was climbing up a case of water displays. I left my card in the machine, and I climbed up the stack after him. I will never forget the woman in line behind me telling me he needed to be spanked for that. And I never knew how many experts there were on parenting until I had a son. And there is free advice everywhere. Every night I would put him to bed, and then I would go lay in my bed. And every night I would end up back in his room on the floor. He had night terrors like nothing I'd ever seen or experienced. One night I remember he started screaming at 10 o'clock and he didn't stop screaming until after 2. I pulled him into my lap on the floor so he wouldn't get hurt, and he screamed and fought for hours. His eyes would open and he would look at me, but I could tell that he wasn't actually awake. I sat on the floor with him for hours that night, and we were both crying because there was nothing I could do to help him or to protect him from this or to make it better. One Sunday I was in the nursery when communion came for children's church. He didn't know what communion was, so he would just receive a blessing like the other children. And I could feel the meltdown that was coming, so I went and grabbed him when we made an exit. I took him into the hallway to explain communion. I started by telling him that communion is one of the ways that we remember that Jesus died for us, and we talked about the blood and the wine, the bread and the body. When I was done, I thought I had done a good job explaining all of this. He looked up at me and he told me, "But Mommy, Jesus isn't dead. When I was a baby and I was in the road, Jesus stayed with me and kept me safe." And that sentence matches his story. He still doesn't know his story, but he knows that Jesus was with him. I later learned that 20 minutes longer and I wouldn't have had my son. We have struggles and we have celebrations every day. In our house, we celebrate a spectrum of love and behaviors. There are days that I want to squeeze him because I can't believe I get to be his mommy. And there are other days that I just want to squeeze him. Cassie at Partners has had text and phone calls to walk me through my crazy days and 4-letter word days and my celebration days. When I was sitting in an IEP getting him ready to go to kindergarten, I was hearing that my child was completely normal and he didn't need any extra services and didn't qualify for anything. And Cassie was right there with me. She was on the phone with me the next day listening to my tirade about what was going to happen and everyone that I had already contacted to make sure that my child got what he needed and deserved. Partners has scheduled classes with the ECAC, so I knew my rights as a parent. And even these past few months, with all the craziness going on in the world, Cassie and Norma have been available to talk to me through my panics over childcare, schools reopening, and my trying to balance work and home and e-learning.
Wasn't that an awesome fashion show? I wanted to share, just take a few minutes to share a little bit about Partners in Learning. You've seen firsthand some of our children and heard some of our stories. We have 2 locations. We serve 260 children each day on site between those 2 locations. 40% of those children are children with special needs, and about 65% are children that are living in low income and poverty. We also provide therapies. We provide therapies in the classroom. We provide therapies in children's homes. We're looking at providing some ABA therapy for children with autism. And we also provide lots of family support. We provide support groups, and we provide Triple P parenting program, positive parenting program. And this is one of our board of directors. Her name's Allison Doby, and she's just going to share a minute about her story and why she is a part of our organization.
Yes, it's nice to be here tonight. I'm Allison Doby, one of the board of directors, as Norma mentioned. I have been part of Partners in Learning for over 4 years. My kids actually started at Partners in Learning when they were 9 weeks old, and I have one getting ready to turn 5 now, and then another one going on 2. Partners in Learning has just been tremendous. They have helped us in numerous ways. And please, tonight, follow the instructions on the screen and donate. Please help these kids out, and please help out early education here in Rowan County. Thank you.